Good morning and welcome to the Petitti Pro Garden Show. Thank you all so much for getting up early and being with us again. This morning we've had a cool week, but we're anticipating some nicer weather as the weeks go on. We're still going to have some nice warm temperatures. I am praying very hard for it. So we do have some special guests with us this week. We have Terry and Sharon from Arrowhead. Thank you guys so much for being with us. And once we get all of your questions answered, we're going to be talking to them about what they have going on. And we're going to get some of questions answered from them that they're probably going to know the answers much better than I do, that you all have been asking us at the greenhouse. So we're going to be able to get all of those questions answered. So we're going to go ahead and pray over the show. If you'll take an attitude of prayer. Father, we just come before you and we thank you for your goodness and we thank you for your grace. Father, just use our show to glorify you and to bring you glory in every way. Guide our feet, guide our hands, guide our tongues, and guide our minds, Father. Renew our thoughts so that we are thinking of you and how to bring glory to your name. And we just thank you for all of these things in your precious name. Amen. So, one of our biggest questions that we had this week were about mums. And several of you were out at the fair this past last weekend and throughout the fair, and several of you had mom questions. And we want to thank all of you for being at the fair that came out and supported all the 4-H'ers and all of those kind of things, came to visit me in the Farm Bureau building. And so to answer your mom questions, a lot of you are under the impression that some mums in the fall are hardy and some are not. And about 95% of the mums that you buy in the fall are hardy mums. There's just a few things that make them hardier than others. So when you plant your mums in the fall, we recommend that you always have them in the ground no later than October 15th. And we like that so that if we have an early winter and it gets cold early, the root system can already be established. Also, we recommend that you do not cut them back when you're doing your fall cleanup this year. Let that head on there so it catches all the debris, and it might look ugly, but as it catches all those leaves and then the snow packs in around it, it really helps insulate that plant for the first year. And then you can cut it off when you do your spring cleanup. And you'll find that they do much better for you. But that thing about getting them planted by mid-October is very, very critical so that root system has time to get developed. I also like to mulch them heavily. And there's really not one color that's hardier than another. A lot of people ask that. Only my white ones came back, or only my yellow ones came back. They're really all about the same. Some mums that you buy in grocery stores will still be a annual mum. It's still a chrysanthemum, but they are not hardy in our zone. So sometimes those ones will not come back. But if you are buying your mums, even at a big box store, which I do not like, I like you to go to an independent garden center. Most of those at this time of the year are a hardy mum. It just depends on how you're treating it. And make sure that you get that root system disturbed when you get it into the ground, and also fertilization. Which brings us to our next question. And our next question was, when should I fertilize all my trees and shrubs? And sometimes I feel monotonous by saying this over and over again, but people are still asking the question. You need to fertilize spring and fall. And it's very important that you're putting down the fertilizer that is correct for that plant. So if you have rhododendrons and azaleas, dogwoods, and your evergreens, you want to use Hollytone. But if you have lilacs and spirea and weigelia, those ones that like the neutral pH in the soil, then those ones you're going to use your plant tone or your flower tone on. And then all of the rest of your trees, your maples and your oaks, even your fruit trees, the tree tone is going to be your go-to. Also, you want to always fertilize at the drip line of the tree, not at the trunk of the tree or the base of the plant. Always the drip line of the plant, because that's where the root system is going to take in the most nutrients for it. So you want to go ahead and put that down at the drip line, and then the rain will work it in, or if we're having a dry spell, you can always water it in. But those are some of the ways that you're going to make your plants do much better for you. Now, if you have questions that you would like to have answered, you can give me a call at 330-455-5997. You can email me your questions at Cindy Petitti, that's CindyPetitti @gmail.com, or better yet, come out to the store and bring me your question at 5828 Columbus Road, right there on the corner of Columbus Road and Broadway in Nimishillen Township. So hopefully we've got some of your questions answered, and I'm sure that Terry and Sharon are going to be able to answer a few of the other questions that I'm going to ask them that you all have been asking me, and we'll let them answer those. But they have a lot going on right now. So Terry and Sharon, you have started your fall family activities, and they started last weekend, Labor Day weekend.
Correct.
And so that was sort of like your break-in. I know you didn't have a real good weather last Saturday, but hopefully today is better. It's supposed to be in the 60s and sunny, and that's always probably good weather for you guys. It's not too hot that people don't want to be out. So what kind of activities do you guys do, first of all?
Well, the first thing, we invite them into the orchard and welcome them. And then they can go out. We got a play area for the kids, and it's $7 to go out into the kids' play area. 2 and under is free. And then we have hay rides. If you want to go out to our pumpkin patch,
oh my goodness,
you can go out
like so
to the
fun.
pumpkin patch, and we have pick your own apples today and Sunday. And the varieties we are picking is Empire, Cortland, Jonathan, and Red Delicious. So we got 4 different varieties that you can go out and pick. Mm-hmm. And it takes about 20 minutes to make a round trip to go out through the orchard and stop at the pumpkin patch. And you get on off the wagons, and you can take your time picking your apples and picking your pumpkins, and then go back to the next wagon coming through and come on back. If you just want to go for a hay ride, like I say, it takes about 20 minutes to make a round trip.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like so much fun. And those apples that you mentioned, now, I know this is a question that a lot of people have. So when they make cider,
correct,
what kind of apples do they want to use?
We try to make a mixture, at least we do, 2 sweet to 1 tart, which I mean if you had 3 bushel, 2 bushel would be a sweet and then 1 tart. Now, if you like a little bit on the tartar side, you just do the reverse.
You use the reverse.
Make 1 sweet and 2 tart. Right now we're mixing in Honeycrisp, Gala, Early Gold, Golden Supreme, and we'll start this next pressing would be our Jonathans and Empires.
Okay, so you guys press apples there or press cider?
I have my apples. I take them to a vendor that presses them for me, and he jugs it for me. Then I just go and pick my cider back up because we got a busy schedule, and I don't have time.
You don't have time to do all of it. Yeah,
right.
I can imagine. So now your activities, do they run just the weekends?
Cindy, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Sharon. Nice to see you this morning. Yes, they run just on the weekends. Our fall family activities are Saturday and Sunday. The day that it will be on a Monday is in October, Columbus Day.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
yeah, like those long weekends, huh?
Yes,
right.
But otherwise it's Saturday mornings and afternoons from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sunday it starts from 12 noon to 5 p.m. And we also have an Apple House Market there.
Oh.
So besides all the fall activities, people are welcome to go into the market. And this year we doubled the size of the market because of the weekends and all the busyness that happens at the orchard. It is now about twice the size. And I bit the bullet, and we have point of sale now in the Apple House. So.
I see. So did you guys add on? I mean, I've been there several times. Did you add on or just move things around? And
physically add on. We moved our bagging table that we bag our apples for the grocery stores for. So that, Terry, tell them about what you did.
Yeah, in order to make space out in where our commercial farm market is, we made one of our coolers. We put a partition up in one of our 2 coolers and moved our bagging area into there. So we kind of have less cooler space, but now more commercial space to display our apples and peaches and nectarines and cider and jams and jellies.
Right. So a lot of people think of Arrowhead, I know, as an apple orchard. That's what comes to mind. But you just mentioned peaches and nectarines. So y'all do more than just apples.
Yep, we do. We have about 8 different varieties of peaches and about 5 different varieties of white and yellow nectarines. And this season it ran about 10 days earlier, so we started picking Red Haven about the end of July. And we're on our last variety of peaches, and we'll probably clean up by the first of the week on our peaches and nectarines. But yeah, we had one of our largest crop of peaches this year.
I know. I have one peach tree, and it was so loaded this year that I actually had 2 limbs break. And I had notched out 2x4s to put up and support my limbs, and I still lost 2 limbs. I was devastated. But I did see some of the peaches at the fair that you guys had there. They were enormous.
Yeah.
They were huge and amazing. They were so good.
And when you come out on the hayride today or tomorrow, you will see some of those. We may be going past some of those areas where even on our trees the branches broke.
Oh,
Right, because there's so much weight.
Oh, exactly.
So this year was amazing. And the white nectarines, they are the size of a, what?
Almost softball.
I was going to say, I thought softball size at the fair, the ones I saw, they were enormous.
And I have we've had the orchard 31 years, and we've never seen them grow like this before. So there's a lot of rain this year. So every year's different. Every season is different.
But one thing for the backyard grower, when it comes to peaches, what you have to do whenever they get about the size of a walnut is try to go in and take a lot of the peaches off. You should only have about 1 peach every 6 inches on the branch if you want to have
some
good.
of them, huh?
Yep. You may look like you're taking too many off, but it's a blessing at the end whenever you can see them at baseball and softball size.
Exactly, yeah. So, since we're talking about the backyard grower, we had a couple questions. So, how long if I buy a fruit tree? And it's going to be different, I know, because some people buy them like from a place like us. It's already potted and, somewhat established. And then some people buy them bare root. Some people buy them online. And so tell them what they can expect on how long from the time they buy one of these trees till they actually have a harvest.
For apple trees, you're looking probably at 5 to 6 years before you start getting anything that's worthwhile coming on the tree. Because the first couple of years, you don't want too much fruit on because the branches are about the size of your little finger.
Little finger, right.
And if you get too much weight, it's just going to break them off. So you should actually take them off for the first 2 years. And then for peaches, usually you can get some sort of production on by the 3rd year. So peaches should last 15 to 20 years at the most is the life expectancy of peaches.
The tree will last that long, okay.
Yeah, because they're a faster growing and they're a more of a brittle type wood, so that's why they can't support as much weight as your apples.
See.
Where apples, they can be in 50, 60, 70 years on apple trees. As long as you keep pruning them and take care of them, they'll keep growing.
All right. So since you've mentioned that, when should they prune their fruit trees, Terry?
Fruit trees, we like to wait until it's been a real good hard frost or freeze. We usually start in January because we've got about 7,000 trees, so we got to start earlier. But ideally, March and April is the ideal time to prune. And try to do it every year because the more often you do it, you're not making a big a cut. So it'll make an open wound on it to let the insects and disease into them. So just try to do it every year.
Okay.
That gives a better crop.
Right. Okay. Well, the next question that we had was about pollination. And a lot of people were like, well, is this a self-pollinating tree? So can I buy one apple tree and get a lot of fruit? So what's your idea on the pollination, Terry?
I'd like to have a couple different varieties of apples to get crossed.
Even if they are a self-pollinator.
Right. I still like to have,
too.
more.
I'm so glad you said that.
To cross over because some of the newer varieties is what they call triploids, and they're not they're sterile where they can't cross-pollinate. It's just the genetics that's in the apple. So all your varieties, it's good to plant 3 or 4 different varieties.
Right.
And that way you'll have no problem on getting pollination. People will be surprised. Honeybees are excellent for pollination, but there's also the bumblebees. Bumblebees will be out there in the windy conditions and cool conditions when honeybees likes to stay in their hive and keep warm.
Right. And some people don't give bumblebees any credit for doing any pollinating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they do a great a job at pollinating, don't they? I
Yep.
know.
There's a lot of other little insects that's out
Right.
there doing their thing
They're doing
too.
their
but
thing too, right.
honeybees is noted because they make such a delicious honey,
Honey,
when
right.
they're all said and done.
And you guys have hives.
We have about 9 hives in the orchard, approximately 9 to 12 hives in the orchard throughout the whole year.
Right. And Jeff and Sheila.
They are
Jeff
our
and Sheila Apiary.
beekeepers,
Right.
yes.
They're Jeff and Sheila's
Jeff and
apiary.
Sheila, yes,
Right.
thank
Wonderful, wonderful members of Farm Bureau. Really help out a lot. So they have some amazing honey. They definitely do.
So in the Apple House store, we carry that honey that they spin out of the hive for us, and the honey that we sell is raw. And that just means that it's not put under high temperatures to spit it out.
Right.
And we
Sheila
have all the good
stuff is still in it, and it's local. So if you have allergy issues, that's the honey you want to buy. Is the honey that's local from your area. And I know Sheila had explained once, never go over 140 degrees, and because that's when they'll start cooking out the good stuff,
right.
and so I really follow that rule. When she told me that, I'm like, I really watch it because I eat honey every single day, and I really watch that I never put hotter water over my honey than that 140
and you
degrees.
can tell the difference in the taste too.
Oh, can't you?
Oh,
so
yeah.
much. It's amazing. If you buy grocery store honey that who knows where it came from. Their honey just tastes so much better. It is real. Local honey is just, there's nothing like it.
It's an excellent natural product to replace and take that sugar away.
Right.
Put honey on your cereal in the morning or in your tea or coffee.
Oh, right.
And it's so much, lot better flavor.
Oh, it is. It's so much better. And then I even eat it or drink it in the evening with apple cider vinegar. And oh my gosh,
Swisho.
Yeah.
My mom gave that to us when we were children. And once I forgot about it. A tablespoon of honey, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, raw. You don't want it cooked or anything.
Exactly.
And in a glass of water.
Right.
And whatever it does to the body, I think it alkalizes it.
Exactly. It alkalizes the body. It keeps your body so that the pH is in the right balance.
And it prevents that cold that you know that is coming.
Exactly.
That you can feel that tingliness or like you're getting ready to start. And that has been helping me so much lately.
I drink it every day. I have honey and lemon juice and cinnamon with some warm water in the morning, and then I have my apple cider vinegar
and that's
with
a power
my honey.
drink.
Yeah,
that's where you get your energy
at night. Exactly. That's what I do at night. So I'm claiming I'm never getting sick because of these little drink regimens that I do at morning and night. It works out pretty good, I have to say.
That's good.
So you guys, Sharon, you had just said that you guys have been there 31 years. So why don't you give us a little history about Arrowhead? Who had it before you? Was it an orchard before you guys?
The best history, just jump on our website to our history area, and that, if you want to read something, it tells you all about it. But the first people that planted the orchard was 1932, the market crash, and by the early 30s, people were really struggling with, a food source and their jobs. And so Raymond Goddard used to work in Canton for, I think it was mining.
Yeah, it was a coal mining company.
And so he researched because he had some background and he had a degree in college, and he researched the best area. So why he got the land that we are on now, the 45 acres, and Terry grew up on the 60 acres beside it.
Oh.
And so he bought this land, and the farmers all laughed at him because it was full of, it's hilly.
Exactly.
Full of briars and growth trees that nothing else would grow on it.
And so they said, well, what can you grow on this? You can't grow a crop on this. Well, he planted his apple trees. Oh, he bought a tractor.
Yeah, he bought a tractor. Well, in order to buy the property, he cashed in his insurance account, and he went and bought a tractor. And that first year, he got all the ground plowed and some of the trees planted. Then they went and repossessed his tractor. because he couldn't make
He couldn't
payments.
make the payments on the
But
tractor.
he got everything.
He got everything
done he wanted. So
Well.
he was a thinker.
And
Oh.
his daughter, they had one daughter, Raymond and Anna Goddard had one daughter, and she still lives in Louisville.
Yeah,
And,
Doris Lutz.
Uh-huh.
Oh, how
And
neat.
then during the war, World War II, Fred and Truus Monhemius came from Holland, or the Netherlands, and they came across with, all they had was a sewing machine
In a suitcase.
and their
They had been married six weeks when they came across.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
They had
Nice.
relatives at Worcester, and then they heard that Mr. Goddard was looking for somebody to help to manage the orchard.
Yep, and then in 1986, when we bought the orchard at auction from Fred and Truus, they kept 2 acres of the orchard, and they built a home on it. So when you
Oh.
look up in the one corner, when you come out to visit us today,
Uh-huh.
you'll go out in the one corner, you can see Fred and Truus are still there.
Oh, really?
So that's a little bit of the history of
That
the
is
orchard.
so cute. And they're still there.
Yep,
They
they're
are
in their
still
80s.
there.
Oh,
Well,
my gosh. How precious is that?
Yep, even the daughter of Raymond, I think that's all. So
Yeah, that's so
She's in her
neat.
90s.
So you guys bought it in 86.
Correct.
And what did you guys do before then? Did
well,
you?
Terry?
I had worked for the Soil Conservation Service in Stark County
Really?
for about 10 years. So I knew, and then we'd farmed. My father and I was in partnership, and we grew about 200 acres of corn and hay and wheat. And when we bought the orchard in 86, I worked about 2 months and then quit my job, and we started full-time in the orchard because it is a full-time business.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, people think, oh, well, you're only picking apples in, the fall. But all of that prep work, all that, all the pruning and all
Yeah.
the fertilization and all of those kind of things.
Every
Yeah.
year, the trees have to be pruned. People don't realize,
Right.
you can maybe slack off one year, but if you don't do it that second year, they grow too much, and you can't let the sunlight into the apples, and they
Oh,
stay
right.
small and don't get color on them.
And you're talking about 7,000 trees in the orchard.
Well, exactly. My goodness. That has to take months to be able to prune all those.
Well, it did back then, but now I have a pruning crew that comes in and does it for me.
Oh.
So there's about 9 or 10 gentlemen that come and do my pruning every winter, and they go from one orchard to another and do the pruning. They're trained, and if you got processing apples or you want number 1 apples, they prune differently. Because
Oh, really?
processing apples means you like a lot of apples and don't care what the size
It's the
is.
size
You're just
of-
going to be using them for cider or
Oh, right.
juice or
Right.
baby food.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize, that you would prune them differently.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That,
And then in the spring, then we do tree training for the young trees.
And that's where Sharon's in charge. She's the head tree trainer.
really. So what is tree training? We have a few minutes. We need to get a
Okay.
condensed version of
All right.
tree training.
Tree training is, you know how when you get a wonderful crop year like this year, and you have too much weight on your tree, you can lose your branch, just
Right.
like the peaches
Right.
we were talking about. But for the apples, if we do a whorl, which is like about 4 to 6 branches coming out of about the same area, probably about 1 or 2 feet apart, and then you give it some airspace, so you have no branches for about that same amount of space, and then you start a second whorl of 4 to 6 branches. And you do that a third time. And so that's about as big. We no longer have, we have semi-dwarf trees in the orchard. And so
Easier to manage.
much easier. And
Right,
the
right.
ladder size is a little
Right.
bit different than standard
Right.
trees. So
That is
yes,
so interesting.
I have to make sure the shape of the tree is correct.
Well, that is amazing. Well, guys, we are about to wrap up. So go over hours for the weekends, and then we started last weekend, and then what's the last weekend that we're going to be doing? It's through April or through like Halloween.
Okay. Really quick.
Okay.
We're not going that far.
Not
we
that
allow
far.
other people to get involved over the Halloween weekend. So October 22nd is the last Sunday that we have fall family fun activities in the orchard. But one thing I wanted to say about today, when you come out to the orchard today to do pick your own apples, we have certain varieties that are ready to be picked. That's Cortland, Jonathan, Empire, which is my favorite, and Red Delicious. And so you're welcome to come out today. Again, we'll be here from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then if you call ahead of time and schedule with me, you can even set up a family bonfire in the evening on Friday or Saturday evenings.
Oh, wonderful. What's your phone number?
330-862-2733.
Wonderful. Oh, that would be so much fun. A family bonfire. Oh, my gosh. I didn't know you guys did that. Oh, my gosh. I got to find somebody to come over and have a bonfire with. That's so exciting. I love
We'll have
that.
a bonfire with you soon.
Okay. Oh, good. You guys will have a bonfire with me. I'm so excited. I don't have any family right around here right now. I have sisters, but they're always gone doing something. My daughter's away, so this will be fun. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us. You're going to be with us again in a few weeks, so we can catch up on everything else that's going on and things that will be coming up at that time. And we want to thank all of you for being with us today. Remember, Farmers Market for Canton is going on right now until 11:30 today. Terry's going there as soon as he finishes up here. And also the Louisville Farmers Market is going on today, as well as Alliance and North Canton. Remember to support your local farmers market. Remember, know your food, know your farmer. Thank you so much for being with us. God bless, and we'll see you next week.